Oil rebounds as traders examine recession risks. London oil expenditures edged higher on Thursday after earlier falls as traders weighed the dangers of recession and how gas call for can be suffering from rising hobby rates and tight supplies. Brent crude futures rose through 38 cents, or 0.3%, to $112.12 by means of 12:04 GMT, having dropped as low as $108.04 earlier in the consultation. U.S. West Texas Intermediate (WTI) crude futures were up 32 cents, or 0.3%, at $106.51 after touching a consultation low of $102.32. Both benchmarks plunged 3% on Wednesday and are at their lowest considering the fact that mid-May. Investors are persevering to assess how worried they want to be. Approximately central banks potentially pushing the world economic system into recession as they attempt to lower inflation will increase to hobby fees. Recession fears have their grip on markets, however the mood swing is instead one in every of ebbing optimism than swelling pessimism, mentioned Julius Baer analyst Norbert Rucker. U.S. Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell on Wednesday stated that the imperative bank become no longer looking to engineer a recession to prevent inflation, however became completely dedicated to bringing expenses beneath manage despite the fact that doing so risked a monetary downturn. Beyond the recessionary fears, soaring refining margins preserve to underscore extraordinarily tight oil products markets, which subjects profoundly for global critical banks, mentioned Japanese bank MUFG. Meanwhile, Russia keeps to discover alternative clients for its oil. President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday mentioned that Russia turned into rerouting its change in oil exports closer to nations from the BRICS group of rising economies within the wake of Western sanctions over the battle in Ukraine. China's crude oil imports from Russia in May have been up 55% from 12 months earlier and at document highs. Also stated that India is presenting safety certification for dozens of ships managed through a subsidiary of Russian shipping organization Sovcomflot, allowing oil exports to India and somewhere else after Western certifiers withdrew their services. U.S. President Joe Biden, in the meantime, called on Congress to pass a 3-month suspension of the federal gas tax to help to fight file pump expenditures and offer temporary alleviation for American families this summer. The U.S. Energy Information Administration mentioned its weekly oil facts, which changed into scheduled for launch on Thursday, will be delayed until next week at the earliest due to device troubles.